Toastmaster. You must come forward and you will do a table topic today. So come forward and stand beside me.
Wait, we're just introducing what we do.
Right.
Oh, geez, pardon me. Table topics is extemporaneous speaking. Speak for 1.5 to 1 to 2 minutes. And you'll speak on a topic for which you have just been given. So you won't have a lot of time to prepare. The idea is for it to be extemporaneous. So, sorry about that. You don't have to come up yet.
Not yet.
Would you describe how you want to play it?
Okay, we have these interesting things. This kind of gives you an idea of what our club thinks of drinking beer.
It's a small cup.
This is just a small cup. This is the not the Vente, I guess. We will pass this around when the various functionaries have had a chance to make a presentation. We will vote on best table topics, best speaker, and best evaluator. So we do try to kind of keep it separate. It'll go around and you throw it in and then it'll go around again for the next and so forth. So then I'll be counting the votes over here as we get there.
Speaker 1 is going to be Kurt Gerwitz, and the evaluator for Kurt today is going to be Christy Whaley. Christy, can you please introduce Kurt's goals?
Yes. It'll be my privilege, maybe I should say white privilege. But anyway, I get to evaluate Kurt today. An excellent speaker in his own right. I don't have his project goals, but I do have his personal goals, which are to gain experience and to get experience, thus building comfort and familiarity. The other, which is easier to measure, is to, I'm supposed to look for and catch. No, he's looking. To catch and reduce filler words as well as double clutches. Double clutches, in case some of you might not know, are things like so, and any repetition of words is considered a double clutch. And also his use of silence, also known as pauses, how he does that. So I'm looking forward to it, Kurt, and that's what I'm going to do.
So everyone, please welcome Kurt Gerwitz.
Do you know why you speak English? It's because your parents speak English, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why your parents speak English? We could keep going, right? There are events in history, in time, that split time into there's a before time or an after time. Think of the breaking glass ceremony at a Jewish wedding. Today, I'm intellectually exploring the idea, did El Salvador declaring that Bitcoin is legal tender, was that such an event? Let me tell you why it's personal to me. I was a devout follower of Jesus Christ. I took temporary vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, which is the opposite of money and sex power. And I left my studies there, the seminary, became a banker, working in foreign exchange, literally a money changer, the type of business that Jesus literally threw violently out of the temple. So I've had my own breaking glass moment. And if you want to know more about that, we'll have to talk afterwards and get personal. But today's question is, was El Salvador's actions in the last 3 weeks, was it one of these moments in history? The reason you speak English, by the way, was because in 1588, the Spanish Armada was defeated by the English Navy. What is money? Do it quickly. Money is two things. It is fungible. This one's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of like the joke about the old fish swimming by a younger fish. And the old fish says, "How's the water today?" The young fish says, "It's fine, thanks." And he says to himself, "What on earth is water?" So money being fungible just means that it's interchangeable and you can exchange it. They're all the same. It doesn't matter who's got it, where it came from. It all spends the same way. And money is a storage of value. I'd like to tell a quick story. Imagine I go to the butcher and say, I'd like to have some meat, please. And he said, "Well, can you prove that you've done anything for your neighbors? Have you provided a service in the world?" Well, I hand him $20 that I had gotten by mowing my neighbor's lawn. So it's a storage of value and fungible that way as well. Blockchain is a new technology. I think it's going to change the world the same way that in the 1400s, double entry accounting was invented in Italy at a bench. The Italian word for bench sounds a lot like bank. Those are connected. Double entry accounting, which we all take for granted today. Maybe it's like the water we swim in, those of us who work in business. Blockchain, I think, will do the same for us. It solves the technology problem that you can just copy and paste, that you can just constantly copy and duplication. It solves the duplication problem. And so because of blockchain, it's a public ledger. We have cryptocurrencies, which I think are poorly named. I don't actually think they're currencies. They are assets, they're property, and they're written down to be well-defined and described. But are they currencies? We're about to find out. The Bitcoin dream is that we can escape the tyranny of our central banks. I'm not going to remonstrate. Remonstrate. I'm not going to remonstrate on central banks. But I will say that if you look at the history of our central bank being created in Jekyll Island by a group of millionaires, the equivalent of today's billionaires, a completely undemocratic process, behind the scenes, during a crisis, and you see how central banks manage and manipulate currency exchange rates, which are related to inflation, and inflation is the new way to steal from the public, because if you tax people, they'll protest in the streets. But if you inflate, it's kind of confusing, and we're in a period right now. So the Bitcoin dream is to get away from this central control of central banks and to liberate the economy. That's the dream. People have been asking me about crypto. I'm a finance professor. They've been asking me about crypto for years, and I've always said it's meaningless to me until I see a country adopt it as its currency. I thought it was going to be Uruguay in South America. They're kind of rebellious. They legalized marijuana before even Colorado did, and that goes against America's wishes, which is hard to do if you're in Latin America, and they're landlocked countries, so the economy's terrible. So I said, watch for, and I remember the story of Iceland. It's expensive to have a central bank. Iceland was like, after the great financial crisis, they said, we don't need to have a central bank, it's too expensive. We'll just adopt somebody else's currency, and the obvious choice for them might be the euro, but they actually consider the Canadian loonie, the Canadian dollar, because their economy was more related to what the central bank would do to how they would manage the Canadian dollar fit better with Iceland. So I kept thinking that crypto's not really a thing until a country adopts it. Well, El Salvador did it 3 weeks ago. There was an event, in Miami. It's interesting that it's in Florida. It's not in New York or California. So Florida and Texas are where the freedom and economy is happening these days. I've gone into my study of this, and here's the extremely underwhelming conclusion. It's too soon to tell, but it's exciting. Thank you.
I can't help but make a few comments on that speech. When Bitcoin just